Had to flip this screen over here for you guys so we can get the lovely picture of the map here. It's spawning into the bottom right hand corner, playing as the red Terran pieces from All Inspiration. It is Nickos, or Nickos, however you feel like pronouncing his name. I'm going to pronounce it Nickos because N-I-C-K is Nick. Looks like he's going to go ahead and start his wall off over here on the other side in his base. In the top left hand corner, his opponent, the blue Protoss piece from Just X, is Cyan. So again, there's been a lot of TVP so far, and I'm curious to see just how many people are going to drop Protoss as we get into the patch coming up this week, which they will be changing Chrono Boost. Now, Catalyst is a pretty standard map. We did start this map off as the first map in because it's basically really easy to expand on. Pretty balanced overall map, but not really favored too many people. I might favor Terran a little bit more because of some of the cliffs around the map. As you see, there are some rocks here, and there's a few places you can just kind of choke off different units, like different races, very easily. Zerg and Tots in general. Don't want to get stuck in some of these bad spots and route tanks and stuff around. Cyan is going to opt to wall up the low ground. Just so note, there is a Reaper jump up in the back of the base here, guys. A lot of people still don't notice this here, apparently. So make sure you are aware of that on ladder. That is a very key thing. A lot of people might try to do some. Use that jump up to say proxy Reaper. Not that our boy Nickos here is doing that. He looks like he is going to have to shoo away this pesky Proteus, who is blocking off his expansion there. Proteus is a little bit slow on the micro, but he will come over and be able to start laser tagging down this SCV, which I do believe the SCV should still win this based on DPS against a probe. Like that's not the case. He will pull away. That probe is going to get chased. I was expecting a pylon to go down. You might throw a pylon here. Pylon off the wall in here for Terran is always really annoying to do against Terran players. Get another SCV going to be under siege here. Do some laser tag. Probe really actually finding a little bit of annoyance. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have Nickos scouting with SCV of his own. He does see 2 gateways, cybernetics core on the low ground, as well as 2 gas in the main. Now, nothing on the production tab just yet here. There's no warp gate or anything. He needs to stop microing that probe on the other side of the map and start building some army, I guess. Might be a good way to go. Other than that, both players just early games are not the easiest to kind of talk about. I mean, you could throw out some memes like Winter. Winter's a pretty big meme. Is the meme. Let's see if you're gonna come around here, scout around a little bit, just check things out. Make sure there's nothing too cheeky hiding out in this Protoss base. Both players, even the Reaper, you know, doing his pretty decent job scouting out this bottom left-hand side of the map. Just making sure there's nothing hidden on the map anywhere that he has to worry about. That Nickos has to worry about in the proxy Stargates, you know, that sort of thing. But there's an interesting choice to open up with the depths. To scare off that Reaper. A lot of people will opt for that Stalker nowadays, but the Adept is still a little bit faster at catching SCVs and catching up with Reapers very easily because the Shade is slightly faster than the Reaper. But Nickos will confirm there is no third base just yet, so Protoss on 2 base. 2 Stalkers do pop out here. There is a Twilight Council follow-up behind this, so that could easily be for Resonating Glaze or Blink. Shield battery getting thrown down on the low ground. Curious to see which way this Reaper is going to go. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have Stim started up. Is about a quarter of the way done. We do have a factory out here. Nothing really being produced out of that factory just yet. If it's going to be for Widow Mines or Cyclones, my guess will be for Cyclones. Actually just going to go ahead and lift that factory and switch it out. Probably with the starport. The starport is done. Now, if you're going to build a starport on the reactor, at least just build it right on the reactor. You don't have to lift your building and then build a starport next to it and put it on there. I mean, just build it right on the reactor. Always something you might want to take note of. Gotta get the music playing, man. There's no music in the background. It makes it a very quiet stream. But we got Cyan up here. Cyan? I think it's Cyan is the way it's pronounced. But he's adding a couple more gases. Getting that Stalker count going. He does have Blink on the way as well. And a Robo. Now this could easily for like a Blink all in. And seeing how Nickos really hasn't scouted anything recently in terms of what is on the way. He's kind of in the dark here. He needs to throw down a scan, probably get this Reaper in the base here. Looks like he is going to send it around. To do just that, get a scout off. Now there is an Adept up here that was just pulled away. Or it is on a pretty big patrol path by the looks of it. If he jumps up there, gets the scout off. If he gets the scout off here, it'd be very important for him to know that there is a Robo here. Okay, we do have an Observer on the way, Blink in as well. And we do have a Twilight Council being added on for Protoss, so already looking to tech up through that faster storm. Nickos, on the other hand, is going to go ahead and move out here. This is a pretty good time for him to move out. I mean, there's not much here for Protoss to defend with, but some Blink Stalkers and one Adept. Now, there is a third base getting ready to be thrown down. I mean, this much DPS in his Terran army, he can actually out DPS the shield battery. Did Nickos get the scout? No, he scouted an extra gateway before he did lose that Reaper, so. What goes on here, it looks like Nickos is going to opt to rotate around towards his third base and come up for the right side of the natural here, just to make sure he can make sure there's no third base going down. Okay, we do have a couple medevacs, so the healing factor is here, but he is on the clock. He does need to get in here before Storm does finish up. If he wants to make a drop play, I mean, he does load up a bit of his army. Looks like he's going to rotate that army around. Trying to get his multitasking down here. He's going to boost it around to the left. Looks like he wants to drop in on his opponent. Up here around this cliffside, there is an observer there that will catch that. He does delay the third base from being thrown down. I don't know who just followed, but thank you for the follow. There's a lot of Protoss here now. This attack shouldn't work at all. In fact, this medevac should be getting picked off very, very easily. Bit of a miscue on the focus fire there by Cyan to knock down that or medevac. But again, blink forward, he will end up being able to kill off this entire army. I mean, you micro that army back like that, you're not DPSing with it. Now you've lost a good majority of this army. If you're just going to lose that fight anyway, you should just be fighting with the army. Don't ever run it away if you know you're about to lose that fight. I mean, it's kind of like microing a dead drop. Anyway. But now Storm is done, which means Protoss is going to wait for probably max out about that 10-minute mark and push across the map, which is Nickos doesn't really have much here to deal with it. I mean, it's 49 to 48, so army supply is relatively even, but Nickos is also ahead of the worker count, so he does have a slight lead. He is getting that third base up faster. But Protoss looking like it doesn't want to expand just yet. Just probe off too. Okay, looks like he wants to throw down a third base again, and he actually will catch his probe. Nickos is putting a few Marines up here. If he wouldn't move these Marines around so much, he'd probably catch his probe. I think he will do just that. Looking away, though, he was going to lose these Marines on a attack move. They could have killed off and delayed this third even more. Because also, again, wanting to move out once more. He is ahead in army supply, but with Storm done, just how much are these Marines going to be able to handle before they are actually just evaporated? Do that Psionic Storm. I think he wants to ball up and get some tanks. I completely agree with that decision. Get your tank count up before you move out. Protoss, however, does have a Warp Prism, so you're looking to move out here probably with no upgrades on the way. So, just going to go ahead and move out with this army. Third base is down. Now, there's a huge SCV transfer on the way over. This could actually be pretty disastrous here for Nickos. As Cyan's moving down here on this left side of the map, the armies are actually completely avoiding each other. This is going to be one of those, oh man, I need to come back here moments. As there is a Protoss army on my doorstep. Nickos, move your army! Get it over here! Okay, he will do that, but this command center is going to end up falling as it is warping into a orbital command center. The warp in from that warp prism. Going to help reinforce this a little bit more. His Storm being thrown down on top of his bio. The tanks are going to siege up in the back line here. But he's kind of choked out his own army. And one Storm will decimate this army. He's going to stem it away in a minute. Like a second. These tanks are finding some value as the unfinished barracks here do create kind of a choke. But a blink forward. It looks like Nickos will end up holding here. There's no upgrades just yet. You take a look at the resources lost after this fight, and it's still relatively even, so both sides are trading out fairly even right now. A couple more High Templar are going to get picked up here. Immortal also in danger of getting picked off as he's just kind of awkwardly running away and saying, "Hey, let me shoot! I can't shoot anything while I'm running. Who designed me like this?" He continues to run away with his tail between his legs. There are a couple ghosts added in for the EMPs, I would imagine, but they do not have any energy to EMP this Protoss army. But all in all, Nickos is still in a pretty good position. Oh, this command center, however, is burning down. Nickos, repair it! Repair it! Orbital! Repair it! So then to wind up losing his third base to it burning down. Okay, he does realize that is burning down now, so he will be able to repair just that. These ghosts not having any EMPs kind of making an awkward move up for them. Now, there's no High Templar to reinforce this army, and it looks like Nickos will end up being able to overpower his opponent here. The ghosts get in here, starting to use them Gauss rifles to knock down some of these Stalkers and Immortals. A warping in the front of Zealots. Good call to warp these Zealots in to kind of block it in and tank for this army a little bit, but I think there's just too much army supply as Nickos is going to continue to press his advantage here and push forward. 1-1 on the way. Cyan going to call it the GG, giving Nickos the first win of this series. And we'll be right back with you guys for game number 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with game number 2. I hope this isn't just a quick 2-0. I'd like to see some great action from both these players. Go to a game 3. And spawning down the bottom right-hand corner of Odyssey Elite. Currently up 1-0 in the series, and on match point, he wins this. It is the red Terran pieces of Nickos. Showing me some great macro last game. And the opponent in the top left-hand corner in the blue Protoss Trunks. Looking to tie the series up is Cyan. And this is a Platinum League match, guys. So it's not a quick game like Potato had to play against Killswitch the other day. It's kind of a one-sided series. You know, there's a Platinum versus a Silver, and that can happen in the JSL. My mic is actually back on. Mic is back on. Always forget to check and see if that mic is actually on. The Odyssey Elite was kept around in the ladder this season solely for the fact of just testing out balance changes and so forth. They wanted to make sure patch 4.0 is going to be good before they started bringing in any new and weirder maps. You look, there are some Reaper jump ups around this map. This is why map generally stays in my personal veto ladder or ladder pool. Just because there's other ways for a Reaper to get around the map. As a Terran, that's always nice to see. But we are going to see a reactor thrown down on this barracks here shortly. I do have the follows turned on. I'm not tracking follows in the game. If you guys are hitting that follow button, thank you very much for that support. Last two came from Sentinels Charge Lots and SC2 Zim. Thank you for the follows, guys. Nickos gonna go ahead and throw down the expansion, which is honestly something kind of risky to do in the current state of TVP. Mainly because if you don't see your opponent throw down a Nexus first, you know it's not really generally safe to expand. But if you can hold it off, any kind of cheekiness coming from Protoss, you're generally in a pretty good position. Now this probe, scouting around over here, make sure there's nothing hidden anywhere on the map. Looks like he wants to take... Okay, I was about to say, you take the gold base? You gonna take Nickos' gold base? That'd be pretty awesome to see. So he is gonna go ahead and proxy a pylon over here, though. Now, Nickos is gonna get up here and scout around with this Reaper. He might actually be able to pick up 1 or 2 probes here on the gas. That'd be a pretty good pickoff, especially when you need that gas for that Stargate and that Oracle. So he's going to switch over to the mineral. He will pick up 2 so far. This Reaper actually getting a little bit of value, already paying for himself. There's 3. The Stalker results do come in here. Stalker does pop out and should shoot away this Reaper very easily now. But he does pick up 4 kills. Early game is always kind of rough to lose those 4 probes for a Reaper like that, especially if you're... This is a TVP, and we do have a proxy gateway instead of a Stargate. It looks like we're going to have a Blink all-in or a Stalker all-in. 2 gateways on the other side of the map. Nickos, you need to scout this, mate. Does his opponent know about the expansion? No, he doesn't even know about the expansion, so he's going in 1 base all-in on this. No expansion behind this. His Zealots are making their way out across the map. The Stalkers are making their way out across the map. And here we go. This is going to be one of those holds that might be pretty tough for Terran to hold on to, especially when he went ahead and expanded. He will scout the proxy gateways over here. 3 Stalkers do get warped in, and Nickos, you're going to have to evacuate that natural command center, man. Get it out of there. Get your SUVs out of there. Cancel that SUV being built and get them out of there. This natural is going to end up dying here. Here we go. We do have a bunker down on the high ground, so he will be able to shoo away. Give these Marines a little bit of extra life here against these Stalkers. He will pick off 1 of them so far. Those kind of hanging out in the back here, not really doing much of anything to help out with this aggression, not the tank for this bunker. Nickos does pull his command center back out. He will have his natural command center safe. The second bunker being added on, and with these 2 bunkers down, there's not much Cyan really can do here. So his answer to that is just to go home and take his own expansion. Very smart decision making here from our blue Protoss player. At this point, he can start tacking up, getting some robos in there. Does have the doors open here that goes to his base. 2 bunkers up here, so nothing really should get too far into this base. And it's just kind of an awkward standoff here of like, I'm going to keep reinforcing, mate, and then I'm going to come up this ramp and knock you down. That's right, you can't retake your naturals, so hope you can hold off on 1 base. You know, he does have a Liberator here, but against Stalkers, that can get knocked down very easily, especially if you're mispositioned that. That's a very good position on that Liberator, on top of that ramp, so they can't just walk up and knock that down. And now Nickos has to turtle up a little bit. Make sure he can get the army to take care of this army on the low ground of Cyan, but Cyan just now can keep getting further and further ahead. He is going to rotate around to make sure there is no command center down here at the 3rd base location, or 4th. Depending on how you like to expand as a Terran player. Scan being thrown down. Possibly looking for that army. Nope, he does scan the natural. He does know his opponent has expanded behind this, which means he's safe to get his expo back, but he has to get rid of this army on the low ground first. And I do believe Stalkers against... How many Marines do we have here? There is a total of 19 Marines, 2 Marauders, and how does it take? He should have more than enough to move back down, especially with Cyan leaving, looking around for any kind of hidden expansions on the map. Because Nickos can safely move back down this ramp and expand. He just needs to come down here and scout this. Like he does want to move his command center back down. They will be able to secure his natural. But he lost a little bit of mining time from that natural base. Pretty oversaturated here, so he should transfer these SCVs down. You get this natural base of mining real quick. Now there's a couple gateways that's kind of hanging out over here. This is a little bit of lost value, especially if Terra just decides to walk over here and kill these. A Liberator being sent out might intersect with this army. Stalkers might pick up a free Liberator here, which they will do just that. So this Liberator, not getting anything return value out of it as well, just kind of dies off for free. Production tab do have a Forge and Blink on the way. Also, one of the main tools Protoss needs to get by any kind of siege line that Terra can set up. You have 2 more bunkers going down on the low ground. He did salvage one on the high ground. He does get a little bit of mineral back out of it. Hey SCV, get to work. Hey you, get to work. Get over here and mine. So, after all is said and done, Nickos is in a much better position here as he's ahead on army. He's only behind in 1 worker right now, so the worker count is relatively even. He does salvage an extra bunker. And honestly, if he were to just decide to move out right now, with Protoss taking that 3rd base, he might actually be able to take a pretty commanding fight, especially if he goes in on the focus fire. As he does have stem done and concussive, so sure, he really would be able to get some pretty high DPS out of this. Out of his current army, but again, he's just going to turtle up a bit. Oh, looks like he does want to move out here. Get control of his 3rd base location here so he can start mining at this 3rd base and equal out my base count. And after all is said and done, it looks like we're going to go into that 10-15 minute, yeah, I'm not going to attack you, you don't attack me, we'll tech up and be a happy family tree. You have the robotics bay on the way. Researching thermal lance, going for that thermal lance. No Templar archives down just yet. So again, this is where Terra needs to stay on top of the scouting of his Protoss opponent. Looks like he is going to decide to move over here and kill these 2 gateways. Those kind of tell you where his army is going to be as a Protoss player. So if you were to sneak any kind of warp prisms in, that would be a good time to do it, because you'll be able to find some pretty good value with this entire army of Nickos completely out of position. Is he adding on any medevacs yet? No, he's just continuing to add on Liberators, so it looks like he wants to stay on this Marine Marauder Liberator composition, which honestly can work, but the more you stem your army, the more damage it's going to take. You have a 3rd base and double upgrades on the way. The first Colossus does pop out there. And 1-1 is on the way for Protoss. Again, as Terran has yet to have 1-1 done and start any other upgrades out of that eBay. But right now, he's giving Cyan time, which is could be possibly one of the biggest problems in this game for right now. Nickos is going to have to overcome. Because of that, if Cyan hits that 10-minute mark, 12-minute mark, has 2 or 3 Colossus in the mix with 1-1, he's even started up 2-2. So the upgrade advantage is already in his favor. He's going to have to move out here and start finding some damage against Protoss here soon. Otherwise, his army is just going to be way too big for him to deal with. It is already getting very technical. Now, there's a lot of Marauders in this mix. There's a total of 20 Marauders so far, which is more than enough to turn these Stalkers to goo pretty quick. But he is going to take a 4th base and try and get ahead in that base count. Adding on the Ghost. There's still no medevacs. I would like to see some medevacs with this army. Solely for the fact that the more you stem and the more you fight this army, the more and more bruise and more damage it's going to take. But eventually you just won't get the return value you could get out of this type of composition you have going for it. The Liberators here are actually going to be able to do some work against this small Protoss ball of Stalkers and Colossus. But again, 1-1, guys, 1-1 upgrades are probably one of the scariest upgrade tiers, especially when you're behind in upgrades. It could swing a lot of fights in your favor. I mean, I've seen a video in which everything was like, I don't know, like 10 roaches versus like 30 lings, and normally those lings would win in a equal upgrade scenario, but like roaches with 1-1 just slaughtered all those lings. And now it's going to be the similar case here. You do have marauders, you do have marines with stim. The stim part of this army, you will be able to rotate down here and kill this third base, but again, these stalkers have blink, gonna blink underneath these liberators. But the concave of Nickos, he just has more army, and that's just going to counter out any kind of upgrades you have. He says, yeah, mate, I'm Terran. I just macroed up. Here's some bio. Nice Colossus. Thanks for the game. As the Nickos is just going to continue to push forward. And Cyan going to call out the GG.